President Barack Obama is not the problem. Oh, don't get me wrong, he's a problem, but I would like to suggest to you he is not the problem. He is merely the manifestation of a much greater problem. And if we don't like the results of this election, instead of doing things the same old, let's go figure out what the cause, the source of the problem really is. Here's my premise. Everything about us human beings is informed by our beliefs. Our beliefs come from human beings, Hollywood, books, a preacher, science. We believe something, it then informs our thinking. It also informs our emotions. And then our thinking drives our behavior, which gives us a result. So let's work backwards. If we've got a bad result, it comes from bad actions, which were informed by bad thinking, which came from bad beliefs. Let me give you a demonstration. We've got ourselves a lovely little house here in the suburbs with a broken window. What is the problem? Is the problem the rock? Of course not. Is the problem Johnny? No, Johnny's just Johnny. Is the problem Johnny throwing the rock? Well, in a sense it is, but why did Johnny throw the rock? It came from his thinking. He thought this would be a good idea. Why? Because instead of believing his parents who said, never throw a rock at a window, he listened to that bratty neighbor kid who said, throw the rock, Johnny. So he believed the neighbor kid. He thought it would be a good idea. He throws the rock. We get ourselves a broken window. And that same truth applies to our country. Here's the United States of America. You don't like what you see? Is the problem President Barack Obama? Well, not per se. He's just one man. He's not a fascist dictator. Not yet, anyway. And he didn't get there all by himself. He doesn't have power based on his own authority. He got it in this representative republic from 50 million people. Are they the problem? Well, you say, well, not per se. It was their voting. But is voting the problem? No, their voting was informed by their thinking, which came from their belief system. So here's our premise. If our beliefs change, thinking will change, voting will change, the people will change, the politicians and our nation will change. Our problem is not the president. The core problem is our belief system. Let's talk about our beliefs. They come from one of two places. They can come from man, which is basically a humanist system focusing on ourselves. We've got the solutions. So man, focusing on man, is humanism, which promotes very selfish thinking. It gives us selfish behavior, which ultimately produces liberal politicians who allow us to live any way that we want to, who let us live on the largesse of others, and it gives us a debaucherous society. That's the humanist, man-centered belief system. However, you've got another option. You've got your beliefs informed by God, which focus on Jesus, which makes my thinking more like Jesus, which means I'm going to have godly behavior because I've got godly thinking because it's based on Jesus, which means that is going to result in better politicians and a better nation. If we want a better country, if we want a better society, we need to have better beliefs. So what are correct beliefs? Where do they come from? They come from correct teaching. Where does correct teaching come from? Correct teachers. Where do correct teachers come from? Correct churches. We just got there. If we want correct beliefs, we've got to have correct teachers, which give us correct teaching, and it gives us correct beliefs, which gives us then what? Correct actions, which gives us better politicians and better behavior and a better society. So let us ask ourselves the question, what is a correct church? Historically, it's been a three-legged stool. Very good teaching. The sacraments administered rightly named. Church discipline to get the false converts out of the church or get them restored into correct fellowship. That is what a correct church is. And when we have correct churches, we're going to have correct teachers, correct teaching, correct beliefs, correct thinking, and guess what? Correct behavior. The core of our problem is not the president. The core of our problem is not our thinking. It's not our actions. It's not our beliefs. The core of our problem is the church. Here's what we've got. A big problem. We've got a president we think is very bad, and we've got a collapse of a society all around us. Is the problem bad actions, bad voting, pornography, adultery, sin? Not really. Instead, those things come from bad thinking, which were informed by bad beliefs, which came from bad teaching, which came from bad teachers, which come out of bad churches. Might I suggest to you, if you do not like the outcome of this election, instead of reclaiming America, it is time to reclaim our churches. Get involved. Get plugged in. Serve. Serve Vacation Bible School. Do a Sunday school class. Get involved in church politics. And if the church happens to be a stinker, how's about reforming it? If we don't like what we see in our country, let's not return to the same patterns. Let us instead fix, not Washington, let us reclaim the church.